Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It looked like it was still recording. If I have any trouble, I'll go back and do those readings again. But that video should post with Leo, Cancer, and Gemini on it. So I don't know who's going to be around to hop back on again. Hopefully you get the bell. All right, so we are going to move into Taurus. Should wait for people to come on board. Sorry about that. I don't exactly know what was going on, but somebody said the video stopped completely, but on my end it was still running. I just wasn't getting the chats. So it looks as though we've got a couple of people on board. Can you just let me know if you've been watching the videos before, whether you're receiving this or not? Okay, good. I hope that those first 3 readings went through. No idea. The video froze. Yeah, it looked like it was still going on my end. So when the chat froze, I thought that's a little bit odd, but it was still recording. So I did go ahead and do the Gemini reading. So I'll have a check of them later and just make sure that those first 3 recorded. You're back too. You lovely people. Thank you so much for supporting me. All right. Let's get into Taurus. Do we have Taurus on board? So we're starting off with the High Priestess. You know, it's really funny because the energy that's coming through is very much like this at the moment. To me, the High Priestess energy is when the air is really rich with vibration and you can feel really good about things. Cancer was the last one, so Gemini did not take. All right, I might have to go back and do Gemini again. So when the High Priestess comes around, it's sort of letting us know that we're in a really good sort of psychic place. We're going to pick up on energy. We're going to feel vibration. We might be really aware of our own space. And for me, it's like this idea of really trust yourself when this energy comes around, because it does mean that you are on the spot with it. You do understand what's coming through. Hey Scott, long time no hear. How are you going? So we do have we have the Lovers coming through. Nice energy, Taurus, with the 3 of Pentacles, the 7 of Pentacles, the Daughter of Pentacles. There's some Scorpio energy coming through and a brand new beginning. There is sort of an energy of there's something that you need to trust here. You need to trust your intuition. If it is that you've got a little bit of a crush on someone or a little bit of a thing for someone and you're not sure if they're feeling the same way, I would say to you, just trust your intuition. Something is about to come towards you here. And I feel like with the Lovers card, it's more than likely love, because you've got the 3 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles, which of course is 10. But for me, that's like manifesting new relationship, or maybe being put in a place where you are meeting someone that you're going to have a relationship with. So there's like a crossing of paths here. I feel like if you start to think this person feels the same way, it's more than likely right for you. I am well, thanks, Scott. And I feel like somehow or another this is going to be a nice romantic situation, but trust yourself here. Okay. So we have the 9 of Pentacles coming through with the Moon card, Pisces Cancer energy. And then I have the 8 of Pentacles coming through. You might meet this person through your work or through your workplace. But I do note that there has been times when I've said that to people. Hey, Bethany, how you going? There has been times when I've said to people, this has a work connection. And when they've come back later, they've said, yeah, it was a work connection, but I met the person in my lunch hour. I had another person who said they were selling their home, met the real estate agent. Another one who said, so they've all had work connections. So I think when we say work, we mean there is a connection there, even if it's not actually at your workplace. I remember another person saying to me, somebody was transferred in to do a short-term job at their workplace, and that's how they met them. So yeah, you need to be a little bit more open-minded on that, but you definitely have some sort of work connection with this person. Now, it could be here with the Moon card especially that it's very unexpected. So it may be, oh, hello, Eleonora. Yeah, thank you for being on board. Oh, it's probably a better time for me to do this, I understand. See, in England for Sam, it's more than likely, yeah, I think she said it's probably about 11 o'clock at night. So, but I think for people in the States and Canada, it's sort of starting to get to the evening. Whereas here, it's 10 a.m. All right, so Taurus, there is some sort of decision. I feel like this person may be on a travel, maybe away from home, and you may meet them, may strike up some sort of conversation, strike up some sort of, you may go out on a date, because I do have the Queen of Cups here. But I feel like this person's here for work with that King of Pentacles, and I don't think that they are normally 6 p.m. in New York. Thanks, Bethany. I feel like this person may be on, and it's 6 o'clock in East Coast, USA too. God, it's beautiful, isn't it, to be able to sit and talk to you all. So I feel like this person may be traveling or maybe going through somewhere when you meet them. And I feel like the choice is, do you continue this relationship? It's very, very difficult to have a long distance relationship. It is not easy, but some people do it. And I think that if you have constant contact and you have good communication, it can work. But to me, this looks like a long distance one. 4 of Wands with the 4 of Pentacles. You don't want to give this person up. Could be a Leo. I do have Pisces, Cancer energy here as well, which is quite interesting. But I feel like this is a person you want to hold on to. And I feel like this decision, for whatever reason, is difficult for you to make, because obviously you have a really good connection with this person, Taurus, and you don't really want to sort of leave them behind. So I feel like the decisions may be either relocating, can you make it work, long distance, but those sort of conversations will take place more into the future. But I feel like this person sort of, I almost want to say they tickle your boxes. So whatever this is for you, looks like new love for you, Taurus. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is, of course, Aries. You know, I suffer really badly with this red face thing. And for years I was told it was rosacea and I could never get rid of it, particularly on my nose. And today it's very irritated. And I've used like a myriad of different creams. And my doctor said to me, leave off the vitamin A products, they can irritate it. And so I had to go through everything. And I've tried everything. And then I go to a specialist and she said, I don't think it's rosacea. Great, all the years they've been telling me it's rosacea and it's maybe not. So I'm still trying to work out what it is. But some days my face will look quite red. And I looked at metaphysical, and because I always use the secret language of your body to have a look at, you know, when I have ailments. And it said there it's a guilt shame thing. So it's sort of like you feel embarrassed all the time. So I've been trying to work on why it is. There's something in my psyche, obviously, that still makes me feel that way. So, and I always say to people, it took me so long to show my face on screen. I don't think about it now. I'm quite happy to do that. So I think I got past all that stuff. Interesting that you'd still keep peeling back the layers. Oh, you use it too, Sue. Yeah, I love that book. Because I feel like sometimes when you look something up, even if you can't release it straight away, knowing what it is that about your body is what it is your body is trying to tell you is really important. So I do. It's not always easy to work with it, but I do try to as best as I can. All right, Aries, let's have a look and see what's happening. We have the Hanged Man coming straight out. So the Hanged Man is a card of Pisces. What it talks about is us learning to see things from a different perspective, because very often we get locked in to seeing something in a particular way. And until we see it in a different way, it can be quite limiting. All right. So, for example, as I was talking earlier, which may or may not have recorded, sometimes we can be a little negative about things, and we can put sort of the, I would say the kibosh on things. That'll never happen to me. I'm not that type of person, whatever. And I think I hear it from people, I'm too old for that, or, I wouldn't do that. And I think, no, you need to open your ideas about who you are and where you're going, because if you start limiting yourself, you keep yourself in your comfort zone, and that means you're going to stay there. You don't get an opportunity to move beyond that. So when the Hanged Man comes out, it makes me feel that you might be in a little bit of this sort of energy at the moment, Aries. Like you might feel very limited by things that are going on around you. So you do have the beautiful World card behind that. So like I was just saying about the book, sometimes when we learn something that we didn't know before, it can open our mind to new ideas. And I feel like we need to do this all the time. Even if we don't agree, even if it doesn't fit with us, even if it's really outside of what we would think something should be, it's always good to take it on board, listen, I was going to say ferment then, but certainly sit on it for a little while until you find reasons for why it should be any different. If everybody done that, we would never have, power struggles between people, because a lot of our fear comes from being trapped within that comfort zone and not traveling outside of it. So when the World card comes around, that says to me that some sort of cycle is ending here. Your daughter of Wands, the Daughter of Wands is coming out with the Daughter of Cups, and we do have the Emperor behind that. So I feel like here somehow or another somebody's going to change your thinking here, and it could be a fire sign. It could be some of those signs I've mentioned. Hey, how you going, Joe? Long time no see. It's lovely to see you on board today. Hope life is treating you well. No, I haven't got to Pisces yet, Scott. Got a little way to go. We had a bit of a breakdown in communications. I'm trying to think what to call it. My computer looked like it was still recording, but everybody said that the recording had stopped. So we're doing Aries at the moment. So that means Pisces is next, doesn't it? Quick peek, yeah, Pisces is next. So I feel like here, Aries, it's like you're being challenged to think of something from a different perspective. Maybe it's somebody that you wanted to sort of go out with and you thought they were one kind of person, but perhaps somehow or another they're very different to what you expected. Perhaps it's something, I'll get into it, gremlin glitch, there it is. Thanks, Eleonora. All right, so we have the Daughter of Swords, the Son of Cups. I have that beautiful Victory card coming out with the Fool. Okay. So what I think is something is going to challenge your thinking. Say, for example, you thought you'd never go out with somebody. They're too, this for me or too that for me, and I never thought that they'd want to go out with me. And it feels like something is changing. It could be, I don't think I'm ever going to get a job here. This is who I am. I'm never going to get an opportunity to be a manager. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, I want you to manage this particular section for a while, see how you go. I just feel like there is something that you have got fixated in your mind about, that something is going to change it to help you move out of your comfort zone. So if things have been traveling on the rails for a little while, be prepared to have that little diversion, because I think whatever this is, it's going to open your world, Aries, into something really good that you never saw yourself doing. There is a Victory card and a brand new beginning. All right, so I feel like somehow or another, perhaps it could be that you've tried something for a while. The High Priestess coming, trust yourself, you see. For example, if you're an actor or you want to be an actor and you've been for lots and lots of auditions and it really hasn't helped you, and now you've got yourself in this mindset that, I'm never going to be an actor because I can never get past the start point. Sometimes when we talk to other people, that in itself brings us out of that comfort zone, because sometimes we can think ourselves, I'm the only one who's been through that. And I talk about, hey, Jeanette, how you going? Long time no talk. Sometimes we get really stuck in our own negative thinking, all right, really stuck in our ideas of how things are. And I think that, sometimes when we encourage ourselves to move outside of that and start to think a little differently, things start to change. And a good example of this was my daughter, because I used to say to her all the time, don't say, it is too, don't say negative things to yourself all the time, because you're just setting yourself up. You really are. And she said to me one day, it really occurred to her so greatly, and she rang me to chat to me, and she said to me, Mum, I woke up this morning, did the usual things, kicked my foot on the bedpost, this didn't go right, that didn't go right, and I got myself into that spiral of, this is going to be a terrible day, things just aren't going to go well for me. And she said, I kept doing things until I started to think, hang on a moment, I'm setting myself up here by thinking this way. So she said, the moment I changed my thinking, everything started to change. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So here, what I think for you here, Aries, is there is something that you've become so restricted on or kept yourself so tight. And maybe it's fear. Maybe it's that you don't want to hurt yourself, or you don't want to set yourself up. Because I do hear people saying that. I remember somebody saying once, oh, I'm a realistic thinker. And I said, no, you're not. You're not realistic. You're a negative thinker. Because when you think you're being realistic, you're being negative. So if you're going to sit there all the time and say, that'll never happen to me, are you being realistic or are you being negative? And it really sort of made me think that some people just don't see it. They think that that is being realistic by setting themselves up to fail all the time. Okay, so for you, Aries, I feel like especially the next month for you is really about stepping back and taking a really good look at what you want and starting to work out if it is a relationship, if it is a job, if it is something you want an opportunity to. Are you restricting yourself by seeing things in a negative light? I've done these interviews. We've all done it. You can do 20, 30 interviews in a row and not get a job. Even the best of people are going to miss out on a job. You might not be the right personality, but have the right qualifications. You might just not fit what the person is looking for. But it never means that you're failed an interview or you're no good for a job. It just means you were not the right fit on the day. So whatever it is here, I feel like you're starting to see beyond that and you're starting to challenge yourself. Come back and say to yourself, wow, there's another interview I went for. Isn't that great? Look how much better I'm going to be next time around. Seek feedback from that employer if you can. Because I feel like sometimes we might do something that actually doesn't act in our own best interest. So I remember a job many years ago I really wanted, and I went for the job and somebody else met me at the post. And they always tell you, oh, you were the runner-up, we went for the other person. And I think, don't tell me that. But anyway, what I did was I went back to them and I said, it'd be really good if you'd give me some feedback on why I didn't get the job, because I felt I was right for that job. And I was told that I didn't sell myself well enough. It was nothing negative at all. It just was my lack of confidence because it was a new area I'd never been in. And let me say, I got the job on the next round. So, knowing that made me really show a different side of my face. Sometimes you can be too experienced for a role and people won't hire you because they think that maybe you just have too much life experience and you'll get bored in the role. So whatever this is for you, Aries, I think you're rethinking something for the month of February, perhaps before you go after it again. All right, we are going to go to Pisces. All right, Pisces. For you, we are starting off with the Page of Cups. Actually, I think he's the Knight of Cups and the High Priestess. All right, with the Ace of Pentacles. You too have a new beginning coming. Six of Pentacles here. All right, you have a new beginning with a Queen of Cups. So you could be dealing with Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio here. I do feel that this person, because you got the Four of Wands after that, if you're in some sort of connection at the moment, I feel like the connection will definitely move to the next level. To me, that makes me feel like there is love coming and it's going to be something that's going to be worth investing in. And I feel like perhaps you've been in situations, Pisces, lately where you haven't really felt that you could invest in something. So, sometimes people will say to me, I've met lots of people, but I've not felt that pull or that desire to be with them. And I can't get into a relationship. I can get the dating, but I can't get to the relationship. But I think that too many of us don't look for the red flags when we date people for the first time. And then when we do see red flags, you know, we don't leave. And it can mean that you end up with a lot of people that really aren't right for you. So I think dating is a little bit of an art. And I think that you can really benefit by doing some research into how to date someone. I got to a point with dating where I felt like it was almost like interviewing people. You know, there were things I didn't want in my life and things I did. Can't get to the date stage. Yeah, so I feel like that's what I'm talking about here. Scott, it feels like somebody is coming along for you. But I also feel that it is really important to, oh, wow. Hey, Janet, how you going? Actually, Jeanette's on board too, the old G's gang, hey? I feel like for you and other Pisces, Scott, it's like taking a new approach to something. So maybe there's something you're doing in those early stages that isn't really sort of bringing you what you want. But also, like Aries there, are you setting yourself up to not date because you are setting yourself up by saying this isn't going to work? So if you say you've met heaps of people, can't get to the date stage, think about what you're saying there. So maybe what your thinking needs to be is, I've met a lot of people. Isn't that great? Because each time I get better at what I'm doing and the right person is going to come along now. So be careful with your thinking. All right, so we have the 5 of Cups, with the Devil card. Then we also have the 9 of Cups here. So there is definitely something coming towards you, Pisces. I feel like somehow or another with this Devil card, you may have got yourself locked into this sort of energy of maybe thinking it's not going to happen. But you do have the 9 of Cups coming through. So there is a wish to be granted here. Also, don't get into the negative energy of not just feeling like it's not going to happen, but don't start to personalize that, because sometimes we can get a little bit personal too and start to think that maybe there's something wrong with us. There may be something right with us. Like, for example, if you were meeting people who are, see, that's why you're doing it, Scott. Your negative thinking right there. Feel it would never happen. But you see, you need to be thinking all the time that it's going to. So even though it hasn't happened yet, it will happen. And it does look like somebody's coming along here, quite possibly a water sign or a Capricorn. All right, so we have the Daughter of Pentacles with the World card. You've got to close out a cycle here. There's something that needs to be closed out. So, for example, it could be that thinking, that, starting to think there's something wrong with me because I'm not meeting the right person. There's something wrong with me because I can't get the job I'm going for. There's something wrong with me because I don't get that opportunity, because you're personalizing something that isn't personal. Maybe you're not meeting the right person because the right person hasn't come along yet. Maybe you're not meeting the right person because the people you're meeting aren't right for you. So it may not be anything to do with you at all. All right. And sometimes we can get, I don't want to say desperate, but it is a desperation thing where sometimes we can get locked into that whole, I'm never going to meet anybody, and I'm starting to get desperate. So instead of doing that, take yourself out of the dating field for a little while and do a bit of work on your own confidence, because maybe you've lost sight of what you can offer someone. All right, so we have the 10 of Pentacles coming through here. So don't give up with the 7 of Wands. You've got the 10 of Pentacles right next door. So don't give up. Maybe the right person hasn't come along because it isn't the right time. I mean, I feel like sometimes when we have to wait a long time, the 4 of Cups is here. So clarifying the 4 of Cups, there we go, Queen of Pentacles. So the next person who comes along is going to be a partner. There's going to be a relationship here. I don't think you're looking at that. It's in the month of February. I feel like you're looking at the month of March, April here with that Taurus energy. All righty. So don't get down on yourself and make it harder and harder. Have I read Libra? Leo was the first one, but the video I went into, sorry, Jeanette, I went into a little bit of a pause there and had to restart the video. So the last video would have Leo on it, but my understanding is Leo and Cancer were on that one, and Gemini didn't tape. All right, so I may have to go back and do Gemini. But for the moment, we are doing Aquarius. Aquarius. Come on. Oh, Aquarius, something jumped out for you. Oh, I like that. 9 of Pentacles energy. Actually, that's quite interesting because you've got the Emperor right behind that. So there's something that you're working on, Aquarius, that's going to take you to something far more powerful than what you've done before. You're heading for great power. All right, let's have a look. So Aquarius, we have the Two of Wands coming out first. Behind that, the Moon. Ooh, there's a real need for you here. That's the Fool energy right there for me. There's a new direction you're being taken in, and I feel like you cannot see where you're going. So for me, this is often that energy. Maybe 2 jobs will be offered to you at the same time. 2 opportunities coming at you here, and you're not sure of either one. And it may be that it's hard to differentiate. So I feel like somehow or another this new path is taking you in a new direction, but it's almost like you've got to take a leap of faith. So, there's this energy of take time out with this. Look, don't get stuck in the stalemate of it. I feel like with the Chariot, you're ready to move forward, but there is something that's closing out. Look at that energy. There is something that's closing out. One of these directions is right for you, and the other one is right for you. But it's your choice on which way you go, because neither one of them will show you the direction at the beginning. So it could be 2 jobs, it could be 2 relationships, it could be 2 opportunities, 2 holidays, whatever. But it's like you can't make the wrong choice. You need to choose what's best for you. So, for example, you might get 2 jobs offered. One gives you lots of opportunity. The other one gives you splashings of money. One is in the right place. One is at a distance. And the one that's at the distance is the one you want. You may consider whether you can go the distance or not. That doesn't matter. Okay, so whichever way you go, it's like you're going in the right direction. All right, so we have, look at that, 10 of Pentacles coming out. So there's definitely money in this opportunity. All right, so we have the Daughter of Pentacles with the 7 of Wands again and the 4 of Cups. Don't get disheartened. Don't sort of hold fast to it. If you're going to make a decision, then stick with the decision you make, because you can only make the right decision in this particular instance. If this is a relationship, don't let your past relationships influence this one, because I feel like whatever it is abundant. Okay, so we have a lot of Pentacles energy coming through with this reading. I feel, especially with the 8 of Cups and the 5 of Wands here, that you may be really deliberating on which way to go with this. And even though it is complicated, or there are, when you sit down with your pen and paper and you write all the goods and all the things you don't want from something, I feel like somehow or another in this particular instance that both are much the same. But this is for the month of February, so it sort of feels like it's in February here. I don't feel any different, but I'll have another little bit of a tune into it. So even though both offer you opportunities, it's almost like the opportunities for both of them still add up the same. So the goods and the bads on both sides still add up to, good things. But it's like it really is going to rely on you, the Temperance energy. All right, with the Daughter of Swords. Okay, you got the Victory card at the end, which is always great. Okay, so sit with that, because whatever this is, it's coming out good. But I feel like it's a little bit of a journey, and you may get yourself into that sort of stalemate energy where you don't know which way to go. So my advice to you is, with the Daughter of Swords here, is do your research, get right into it. Do it for yourself, though, not just because the money's good or the position's good. Do it for what you feel you want. This is really about you learning to pick for yourself. I do see this a lot in readings, and I have to say I'm just as big a culprit as anyone else. Sometimes when the money looks really good, I think, I've struggled for a really long time. I want to have the money in my pocket, and I'll go after the money. But then later on, I realized perhaps I should have thought about some of the other things, because sometimes the money means that you get a very different environment that you may not feel comfortable in. So, I've moved for work because I've had really good offers, but then sometimes I think maybe I should have just stayed put and accepted something that was less of an offer, because it may have been a smaller organization where I could have built better relationships or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, you're going to find whichever way you go here is going to be good. So you got the Victory card, but you also have the Temperance card. So I feel like somehow or another, this is really saying to you, make sure that your mind, body, spirit, don't jump at the first thing. In other words, make sure your mind, body, and spirit are all in balance. So is it going to serve you? Is it the right direction to go in? All of those things need to be considered here. And I feel like there's a need for you to do your research, but make sure that you're really going after what it is you want. If the job offers you lots of opportunities but pays a lot lower, then maybe that's the right way to go. But you make sure you're doing it right. I feel like this is February into March here, though, because I do have that Victory card coming through. So I would say late stages of February if you're asking me for a timeline. Possibly into March. All right, next up, we are going to do the lovely sign of Capricorn. I'm pretty sure I'd have a Capricorn on board here. Yeah, that really threw me, that video not working this morning. It's so crazy. I wonder what the reason was for that. Bizarre, because it kept going. My clock was still going. Everything looked quite normal to me, and it wasn't until the lovely Sue came on board and said the video had frozen, and I was like, but it's working at my end. How bizarre. All right, we are starting off with the Wheel of Fortune, Capricorn. Oh, love this energy. So the Wheel of Fortune, when it comes around, says that it's about time something came your way. Luck is about to change. Not that I believe in luck. Maybe your destiny is about to sort of fall on your doorstep. But something is about to happen in the month of February that perhaps you were not expecting, or you worked really hard and now things are working in your favor. You know, sometimes we can struggle, and I've talked about this in a couple of the signs today. Sometimes we can struggle so much to get what we want, and in the end, it becomes such a problem for us. It's just throw it to the wind, leave it to the universe, because sometimes we can overthink it, we can overwork at it. And I just remember years ago, and I've had two friends of mine this has happened to, where they weren't able to have babies. They had terrible trouble. They had all sorts of health problems. There was all complications. One of them went through a whole heap of IVF. The other one just went, you know what, if I can't have kids, I can't have kids. Both of them have 2 children now. Once they'd given up the fight, once they'd let go, once they'd sort of said, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that now. Both of them fell pregnant. Both for completely different medical reasons, but both of them fell pregnant without the IVF, natural pregnancies. So I always think that's a really good lesson. Maybe we're trying too hard, we're pushing too hard, we're struggling too hard. Maybe we're going out of our way for something that we need to sit back and wait for. So when the Strength card comes through with the 9 of Cups, how awesome is that? And then we have the Knight of Pentacles with the Knight of Wands and the World card. All right, Capricorn, I feel like there's some sort of decision for a new beginning here in the month of February. I feel like something that you have waited for, thanks, Bethany, something you've waited for, something you may have really pushed to get, and it didn't happen. And the moment you sat back, everything started to happen. For example, I've got a really good example of this. Good for you. I've had a Facebook business page for years, and it never did anything. It grew very slowly, a few people here and there. I did lives. I did everything I needed to do. It never happened. And in the last probably 2 months, I've hit 10,000 for no apparent reason. All of a sudden, it just flew, and it flew and flew and flew and flew. And I've just gone over 10,000. I'm not sure why it is when we push against things, when we try hard for things, when we try hard to make things happen and they don't. And Capricorns, it's probably even harder for us because we don't want to sit back. We're not the most patient, creatures. We want things to happen instantly. And it's been a big lesson of mine to learn how to be patient, how to wait gracefully. And I feel like this month of February is something is coming towards you that is going to bring around a wish. All right, so we have the Five of Swords coming through with the Three of Cups. Nice energy. Eight of Swords with the Tower. Okay, so I'm getting that same sort of energy I got with one of the other signs earlier. It'll be quite interesting if it isn't the sign that is in, thanks Jeanette, one of the signs that it feels like the same energy, okay? You know, sometimes something just comes left of center. It just comes out of the blue. A bird just flew right into my window. And I think that sometimes when we allow things to unfold, allow things like living in the moment, like I always say, being the observer, allowing things to unravel as they should, things come about. So, for example, if you've been looking for a job or a job role and you haven't been successful, it's like somebody may come out of the blue and say, yes, this is an offer, this is the way to go. And it may be something you're not expecting, because to me, there is some sort of surprise that's coming to you. Whatever this is, Capricorn, you've been quite anxious about it. You've been quite antsy, trying to get something to happen or move forward. And really, it is about you letting go now and just allowing the universe to unfold. All right, so there's communication coming through and an opportunity coming to you once you let go. So it's like letting go of what your expectations are, perhaps. Sort of energy coming through in a lot of the readings today. Like, you know, you have a certain expectation of something. If you let go of the expectation, if you allow things to come in, get out of your, you know, comfort zone and grab it. Because maybe it's something very different. You have the Hermit card with the Seven of Pentacles. So there is definitely something you're manifesting. All right, if you are trying to manifest a person here, I feel like they're coming right out of the woodwork at you. If you're trying to manifest a job, I feel like it's going to come to you through some sort of avenue that you weren't expecting. You know, when I first came to Wodonga, hey Laurie, how are you going? When I first came to Wodonga, I wanted to go back to work. Hey Melanie, lovely to have you on board. Thank you for your beautiful comment the other day too. And I wanted to get a job, but because I was in a new place, I thought, you know, it'd be really good to have a couple of days a week to be amongst people again, make some friends, feel more comfortable. And honestly, I applied for everything. I'm not joking. I applied for everything. I couldn't even get a job at Woolies doing shelf packing. And I kept thinking, why is it, you know, that, you know, sometimes just watch that because things are coming left of center at the moment, Laurie. I would say to you, hey, Chili Mama, I would say to you, the energies in the universe at the moment, Laurie, are very much about things happening out of the blue or things happening when we've tried everything, but we can't get things to work. So February feels to me like a month where you really have to sit back and allow the universe to drop things in your lap. So let go of all your intentions, all your manifestations, just let them all go and just allow the universe to do its work. Because the energy coming through in all the readings is about an unexpected offer coming from an unexpected source. So I would say to you with Capricorn here, if you are dealing with a relationship that you wanted or a relationship that hasn't sort of taken off, it's about to. February would be a good month for that. I do have Scorpio and Taurus energy coming through very strongly. Sorry, Taurus and Virgo energy coming through this reading. So whatever it is, Capricorn, a wish is about to be granted. It could be something that you've tried for before or something that you have really put a lot of effort into. You may be really, I'm not pulling cards, Melanie, I'm doing the signs today. So yeah, look at the Taurus reading, Laurie, a bit later. Because I feel like February is a month for the unexpected, but the unexpected on a good level. I have this beautiful raven looking at me. I found this great screensaver, and it's got all ravens in it. I love ravens. I get really annoyed when people say they can't tell the difference between a raven and a crow, because ravens are just beautiful looking creatures. So what sign are we up to? We are about to start Sagittarius. And Cancer and Leo are on the last reel, but we dropped out, our recording stopped, so you might have to go back to either of those. I'm hoping that I can do at least one a week on these sort of weekly readings and getting online and on board with it. So we'll see how things go. All right, Sagittarius, where are you up to? That card wants to come out, and it's the Lovers. So we're starting off with you with the Lovers. Okay. So the Lovers is a card that talks for me. I've been reading tarot for a really long time. I don't even know how many years it is, probably half a century. It is actually half a century, perhaps a little bit more than that. But the Lovers, when it first started off, and I often talk about this, was the card of the choice. So it was about making a choice. It wasn't necessarily a choice between two people, although we could have taken it that way, but it was a choice and a new pathway. It was sort of that energy of having to pick a path to go down. And over time, the Lovers card has become a card that talks about, relationships being brought together, divine relationships. So sometimes when I see it, to me, it's like a combination of all those things. There may be a choice here around the relationship. I feel like you've got the Queen of Wands coming through. There is a love offer coming from a Leo, Sag, or Aries here, or maybe you're about to deliver a love offer, Sagittarius, the High Priestess and Magician. So I feel like this is a good direction for you. I feel like you've met someone who really floats your boat. It just feels to me like you're meeting someone in the right sort of situation at the right time. Maybe you're ready for a relationship, but it's almost like this person is going to just fit in to your shopping list, as I always say. All right, so we have the Emperor coming through straight off. All right, and we have the Three of Wands with the Nine of Wands. You're getting some sort of communication from somebody here. And I feel like this person has really got, a good intention. They can see the future. But because they're coming up as an Emperor, or you are, if this is you sending the invite now, feel like, this person has, I sort of get this energy sometimes, when you determine to have something. And even though, I don't know if you've done this, and you have your heart set on someone and you're determined to have them, and it might take a while to manifest, but you know what, you eventually get there. And it's sort of like that, landing in that place where what you wanted wants you. So definitely feeling like that. You have the Nine of Cups coming through as well with the Strength card. So whatever it is you're doing here, Sagittarius, and the Wheel of Fortune, major arcanas coming through thick and fast. Could be a Leo you're dealing with, Aries, but another fire sign by the looks of it. The time is right. It's like somebody is about to step into your life that is your dream come true, your wish, your manifestation. All right, so we have the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords with the Tower, Scorpio energy. Let me just pull a card at random to go on the Tower, and I get the Two of Cups. So I feel like here, whoever you're meeting is exactly right for you. Absolutely. Why the anxiety? Why the stress coming? I think that no matter what, this person has made room in their life for you. It's like perhaps they did feel the same way about you for a while, or the energies go back to a time when they did feel attracted to you, but perhaps they were otherwise committed to somebody else. And I feel like they've made room for this now. So if you had your eye on someone for some time, or you've, felt that you had a connection with somebody for a long time and they didn't appear to notice you, I would say to you, Sagittarius, they're about to drop into your lap in the month of February and perhaps have that conversation with you around, how to move forward. But I feel like this person's made room. So they could be at a distance. They could be with another person. They could be unable to make the offer before. There you go. Chalk and cheese. Oh, my partner and I are chalk and cheese. I always used to go after people because they had so much in common with me. But the partner I have now is